Batong here from iAfrican, live from Deep Learning in Daba at the Exhibition Center. And my goodness, it's a hot, yesterday was actually raining, today is hot. So there's a bit of up and down in the weather. But anyway, it's a Wednesday at the Ndaba. It's been beautiful. Today is poster sessions. So later on, we'll be giving you footage of the poster sessions. But for now, subscribe and like to the channel. Comment section, look at all the other videos we've posted about the Ndaba. But for now, we have a lovely lady. She's the president of the Data Labelers Association of Kenya.
Yeah.
Joan, how are you?
I'm very fine. How are you?
Are you good?
I'm good.
Joan is from Kenya.
Yes.
How's Kenya compared to Rwanda?
Kenya is a bit fast. I feel like there's a bit of cultural differences.
Okay.
We don't have matatus here.
Okay.
It's not loud here.
It's not loud enough for
Yeah,
you.
it's not loud, but I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joan, data labelers are considered the hidden architects of AI.
Yeah.
They contribute to AI systems. For the benefit of our viewers, let's start here. What is data labeling?
Data labeling is the process of like teaching AI models to recognize how to recognize stuff. And how we teach them to recognize this stuff is by adding annotation. And annotation can be anything from drawing boxes, cuboids, using polygons, and then adding tags to these annotations that you're doing. So it might be a car on the road. So you need to teach this model to identify this is a car. So you have to draw either a box or a cuboid and then add a tag by saying this is a car. This is a person, and this is like there are very different things you're supposed to annotate depending on which project you're working on. When it comes to data labeling, we are not limited to only cars. There's a lot of things we are doing for data labeling. There's like the labeling of stuff in the house for them, the vacuum cleaner, the robot vacuum cleaner. There are so many things that we are doing as data labeling for artificial intelligence. But as you've mentioned, again, you're invisible. Yeah.
So I just want to paint the picture for our viewers.
Yeah.
So data labelers are people that label things to make it easier, whether it's images, videos, whatever, chat, whatever.
Yeah.
There are actual people that label to help AI systems identify and sort data out.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you represent data labelers, right?
Yes.
Walk me through a typical data labeler. Is it an educated person? Is it a person from school? How does a typical data labeler or worker look like?
So depending on where you are, there are those companies that are targeting fresh graduates from the universities with the highest degrees. For example, they're asking for architectural, they're asking for people with maths, degrees in maths. And then it can go to as low as people like the clickbait or the ones that do not want to pay people according to how best these people are. They want people from like an 844 who have just cleared their form for their secondary school education. Yeah, so it really depends on the needs of the clients.
Okay, the needs of the clients.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was when they started.
Okay.
As things went on, as things are progressing, the demand is also getting high.
Okay.
So now you feel like if you're a fresh person who just got into the field, they require some certain level of education from you. So nowadays they are a bit strict on like you should have a software engineering degree or something to do with maths degree and all those things. Yeah.
Joan, now, over the years, we've seen stories, reports on, the exploitation of data labelers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We've seen it in Kenya. We've heard about it in different parts of the continent, whether they're being underpaid. Walk us through the typical challenges of data labelers, both in Kenya and just generally on the continent.
Yeah, so I'm not going only to talk about data labelers. I'm also going to add content moderation to this. I'm also going to add content moderators to this conversation.
Okay, please.
Because we are on the same field.
It's the same ecosystem.
It's the same ecosystem. So let me start by addressing issues to do with the nature of the work that you are doing. So for content moderators, their role is to go to this social media. They are given social media, fresh social media content.
Okay.
And what they do is they sort of filter out the content that people should not support, that people are
The
supposed
people report on social media.
people are not supposed to watch.
Okay, you're not supposed to watch. Okay.
Yeah. So you find like there's beheadings, there's
Killings,
there's rape,
sexual content, whatever the case may be. Okay.
Yeah, there's children being molested and all those things, and there's fresh accident scenes where you as a person you cannot control whatever it is you're seeing. So there's a person who saw their grandfather dead.
That's how on our timeline certain images are sort of blurred.
Yeah.
And then you have to accept.
Yeah.
Then you see them. So
And-
that's what they do.
Yeah.
They blur those pictures
And
out.
at times that you don't even get the blood version of it because things are so bad. When maybe there's the genocides, there are killings, there's the content from Gaza and all those things. There's a person who's responsible for filtering that out. Imagine the mental health of that person being exposed to this sort of content for more than 8 hours a day. And they only have some few minutes of break. And mental health practitioner that you're not supposed to explain to what you're watching. Imagine, like even I do not have to explain the challenges that person is facing.
Of course.
You can just like see it, even from even from the stories that they tell you. You get so depressed, you can't hear anymore. You feel like it's starting to affect you. So that is one about the content moderation. It's the nature of the task, the nature of the work that we are doing. Let's go back again to data labeling. We find someone, there's a pathologist somewhere who has decided they want to come up with an app that is supposed to simplify their job, and so that the app can sort of like create a shorter version of what do you call the process of finding out what killed a person?
Whatever that is, we'll come back to it.
Yeah. So you find that you're given dead bodies, you're exposed to dead bodies, and then you're supposed
all
to
types of horrible content.
You're supposed to draw around the place that has the heart, and then you're supposed to explain: does this look like a stab knife, like a stab? Is it a bullet and all? So that is a person somewhere who has decided they want to come up with a post-mortem. Yeah, it's called the post-mortem pro.
Okay.
Yeah, post-mortem app. So who is exposed to these jobs? As data labelers.
Okay.
You feel like there's someone out there who wants to sell their pornographic content, and they want it to be on the SEO, like the fastest to. You find somebody's given a task and they're supposed to look for tags, 40 different tags once. And this person is a family man. You have your kids, your wife is there. Imagine what that does to you as a person. You become so, I know. So that is two. Another thing we're speaking about is all these jobs I'm explaining here, they're so underpaid. Wow. When I started, I was among the few people who started most of the platform jobs, especially in remote.
And around what year was this?
2017.
2017, okay.
So we were being paid well because for a single task, you'd get around $60, $80, $100. But as people got to know about this platform, as things moved on, things started getting very bad.
Wow.
From being paid $60, now for a task that you spend more than 8 hours working on, now you're being paid 0.00 something, like basically cents.
But why was that so? Was it because there were more saturated influx of people?
Yeah. It's the influx of people, and then it's sort of like they were discarding the African market. Because I remember when we started, we were working hand in hand with this big tech company. We used to tell them, do this to this platform so that we can work on it easier, so that tasks can be a bit like have high quality and all those things. But as things went by, it's just that they perfected the platform, and then now communication cards.
Cards, yes.
Yeah. Now, anything that they were discussing or anything that was being addressed is something, there's a bug in the system, and somewhat we cannot submit the task. That is being addressed immediately. But when we say you've not earned for more than a month, nobody's addressing that.
Now, Joan, the picture that you paint actually worries me because... And it's important why we're having this conversation because these are human beings.
Yeah.
We always talk about AI. We always talk about the leaps and bounds that have been that's been going on in the sector, but we never speak about this human element of AI, right? Now, when data laborers and content moderators are exposed to this type of horrific content, is there mental support? Is there psychological support? Just paint the picture of a typical workplace. Like, what support do these companies give to our data labelers and content moderators on the continent?
First of all, content moderation, data labeling is not considered as harmful. So you're not given any sort of mental support.
Wow.
Yeah, that's up to you. If you want to work on the task, you work on them. If you don't want, and you cannot opt out if that's the next task in your platform. So you have in your dashboard. So you have to work on these tasks. You do not have any. Remember, you're a grown-up person. Now you don't depend on anybody. It's you. You're supposed to work hard so that you provide for yourself, for your family, or your kid. And for content moderation, yes, they are called mental health coaches, coaches and stuff. But they are not knowledgeable of what you're doing. And the agreement is when you're working on these tasks, you're not supposed to discuss with anybody whatever it is you're doing. Because again, there are NDAs.
Yeah, NDAs, 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
There are NDAs which you're not supposed to tell anybody what you're working on unless it's someone who you're working who's directly
a co-worker within the same space, yeah.
But both of us are exposed to the same content. Who is going to help who?
So make me understand this, and I think this is very important to understand for labor rights perspective. Content moderators, data labelers, are they mostly freelancers or they full-time employees? What's the relationship between the workers and big tech?
It's both.
It's both?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like everybody's exposed to all sorts of harm and all sorts of everything that you're doing. So you're trained as this in a BPO, business processing outsourcing. And then, because the money that you're getting is not enough, you have to look for another source of income. That is why you're finding these people are both in the BPO, in the organization, and they're also in the platforms. But then there are people who do not like the mornings and stuff, so they stick strictly to the platforms. Yes.
Interesting. Now, Joan, the Data Labelers Association, you're one of the co-founders. How did this association start? What was the initial straw in the camel's back that said, no, guys, we need to organize ourselves?
Yeah. So in 2023, I was reached out by a person on LinkedIn. She's called Barhan Tai. She was doing a research for Stanford University.
Okay.
The research is called AI harms.
Okay.
So she reached out to me, and my role was to be a research assistant and come up with questions, some of the roles that I'm supposed to do, come up with the questionnaire so that they can get enough information as to support the topic, and also provide almost 100, 50 to 100 people who can now come and tell their stories, which we did. I sat all across the interviews, and there are things that are very systematic. To some point, it was very intentional. But I was still working on the platform.
Okay.
So
you're on both sides now.
Yeah. Now I'm being exposed. So I feel like the first question is, do you guys have contracts? And everybody's like, no, we don't have contracts.
Imagine.
And then Barhan explains to us, but that's a violation.
Yeah. How do you work with no contracts? What recourse do you have?
Yeah. So everything I was learning in the process was everything we are doing here is very illegal, but when you see the end product of whatever it is we are working on, it's huge. 100%, it's massive.
100%.
It's the self-driving
And because they're
cars.
required by the regulator to content moderate and make sure that content over the age of 18.
Everybody is on Facebook.
100%.
Everybody is on TikTok. Everybody is on Instagram. But you don't know what it takes for you to get that content that you're getting. For the data labeling is the self-driving cars. They are there. The chat GPTs, they are there. And all those things. But these people are not following the rules. They're not following the laws. And then what also came out prevalently in the conversation was the fact that there are no policies, there are no regulations. It's just talk.
People are just doing whatever.
Yeah, but when you have policies, it's like policies in the overseas. Does it trickle down to the final?
Yeah.
No. we are not protected against anything. I remember there was a time we worked on a platform for a full month and we were not getting paid. And guys started agitating. And what they did is they paid us all of our money, and everybody's dashboard was over $1,000. But when it came to payday, everybody's money is on negative, and you're
Wow.
paid around $20 and stuff.
$20, imagine.
Yeah, $1,000 is paid, is under negative. They said they are.
Strange deductions and all these strange
They
things.
said there was a bug in the system.
Imagine.
And we overworked because now we are seeing now people are getting paid. So it's like you're being lured to do stuff and then you're not getting paid for it. And it's not just about the pay, it's the pressure
Yes.
to beat deadlines.
Yes.
It's the pressure for accuracy. Anything
Yes.
below 98% is
It's not considered, yeah.
not considered. And I can tell you for free, you can work on a task, that task for 5 hours, and then maybe you want to take a breather and maybe step outside and do something. When you come back to that task, it has disappeared. And you've invested your 5 hours. So that means you're not going to get any pay for that task.
100%. Now, Joan, there's been stories, we all know the stories, and there's been sort of, some of these things, we've covered them, a lot of other publications have covered them, especially in Kenya. Now, your organization seeks to bridge all these gaps.
Yeah.
Are you working with the government? What steps are you taking just to formalize from a policy, from a recognition, from a regulation? Because this type of work is going to be attractive to a lot of young people.
Yeah.
A lot of people need jobs. A lot of people love these platforms that they're already on these platforms. So to be a content moderator or a data labeler on such platforms would be attractive. So
Yeah.
how do we change that? What's currently happening in the space to change that?
Before we started, I think I've mentioned this is the very first African
Public interview. Yeah.
So I'm feeling like there's a long way we have to go.
Okay.
There's a lot of knowledge gap that exists. I feel like many decisions are being made about this type of work, but the workers are not included. So there's always going to be miscalculations when if the government is deciding about this work and they are not including the workers, then I feel like there's nothing we are doing.
100%.
If we're engaging them, we are trying. We're trying to have conversation with them. Last year, there was this bill, it's called the Business Law Amendment 2024. From that bill, from the looks of things, it's like the big tech was being protected 100% by the government, which we deeply rejected, and we also forwarded our memorandum. Yeah, and funny thing is, with all its with all the downsides in that document, it was passed by the members of parliament.
Wow.
Now we are going to court for that.
You're taking it to court?
Yeah, no, we
Okay.
are taking them to court because of how can you not protect your people?
Your people. Because these are your people.
Yeah, how are you going to protect the big tech companies when they are the ones who are bringing all this harm? Why don't you want them to be responsible and accountable for their actions? Yeah. So that is one of the areas of policy where we are at. And as the Data Enablers Association, we also came up with a model contract.
Okay.
And a code of conduct.
Okay.
A model contract, you may ask why. It's because most of the time you feel like people are being given contracts that are 35 pages with very heavy lingo.
There's no standard, there's no framework. So that becomes a framework for people, 100%.
So it's the language that is there, it's the jargons that a normal person cannot understand what they're protected against. And usually the contract is used against it for you to get fired or you've done something that is not. So we came up with a model contract to sort of like use our English or the kind of language we'd want to be used when you're being given this contract. 100%. It's also standard 2 pages where we feel like, what is a 35 pager for? I cannot go through a whole 35 page and you expect me to sign by the end of the shift.
100%.
And at the same time, by the end of that shift, I'm supposed to have worked on that task, on the tasks that are allocated to me. So there's no time exactly
100%.
for you. Yeah. So we came up with a model contract where you feel like we've addressed issues to do with mental health, issues to do with pay, issues to do with skills transfer, because most of the time you find like there's a person, okay, you're required to have a software degree, software engineering degree, right? But then you've not practiced your software engineering for like 5 years. What does that mean? Your skills somewhat are disappearing as time goes by because you're only concentrating on doing the data labeling or the content moderation, right? So we feel like also the data labeling, again, let me mention, you're only taught how to draw boxes, cuboids, and also paint, color, and all those things. So it's not skills that are transferable to another field. So for you again to go back to the data, to the software engineering, you have again to go back to school, which again we as the Data Labelers Association are advocating for. If you guys are supposed to skill people how to do this, don't do a quarter skill. Teach them the whole skill so that when everybody is like anybody is just trying to veer off the career that they are,
100%.
they can
take that and prove that I've done X, Y, and Z. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That skills, that proof of skills transfer needs to be there.
Yeah.
My goodness, Joan, the conversation we're having is such a critical conversation. I know you're the president of the Data Labelers Association in Kenya. Are there plans, because there's going to be brothers and sisters watching this from other parts of the continent. Is this a continental organization or it's starting in Kenya, then you're going to open up chapters in other? Just walk me through what's the plan for the continent in terms of this association?
Again, a backstory. So in Kenya at the moment, the BPO and the platforms are the biggest employers. So you feel like we needed to address the Kenyan chapter first.
100%.
So that,
makes sense.
Yeah.
You start home.
Yeah, you start home and then you have to learn from the process so that when we start other chapters, then we have a very strong background of what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to expect. But that does not limit us. Let's go further and bigger. Even from now, we can learn as we are going. So if there's people who want to join us, if there are people who want to open other chapters affiliated to us, we are so open.
100%.
But we want to move because, again, what we figured is when the big tech company or the bad companies that are the bad organizations, what they do is once they come and do so much harm in Kenya, they look for another African.
Of course.
So that is what we want.
If you can do it in Kenya, you can do it in South Africa, you can do it in Nigeria, you can do it in Egypt, you can do it anywhere.
So I'm thinking if we can create a momentum, a movement where not only in Kenya we can have the Data Labelers Association, let's play them at their own game. Another country, open yours, and then we join forces. We will not be exploited as we are being exploited at this moment.
Joan, thank you so much for your truth.
Yeah.
This is an important conversation.
Yeah.
It's an important conversation because we need to have uncomfortable conversations
We need to.
about what's actually happening in real time.
Yeah.
And in as much as we're celebrating, in as much as we're advancing these AI and machine learning systems, but we need to talk about the human element.
Yeah.
And I always tell people this, Africa's job is always to show the world a human face.
Yeah.
That's our job.
Yeah.
And the human element needs to be shown, it needs to be protected. I thank you for what you're doing and your organization.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comment section what you think. I know there's going to be a lot of brothers and sisters that are interested in going into the space, content moderation, data labeling. Reach out, let's talk. Bataonga African.